guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Evie, and today we're going to be making cinnamon rolls, but they're no ordinary cinnamon rolls. These cinnamon rolls are by Emma's Goodies, so all credit goes to her, but they're supposed to be the fluffiest and the best cinnamon roll recipe you've ever had. And I just wanted to test them out because, you know, this video idea started like really randomly. So at first I was like, oh, I'm going to try tasty recipes. And then I saw the cinnamon roll and I was like, oh, I'll try this. And I was like, oh my God, no, I need to try Emma's Goodies cinnamon rolls. So it went from me wanting to test tasty recipes to me doing Emma's Goodies cinnamon rolls. So I had so much fun making this video, and it was a little challenging, and there's a little steps along the way, and it's like 2 o'clock, and I started making this at like 8 o'clock. And they're still cooking in the oven, so it's a little time consuming, but I'm sure it will be worth it. So if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that little bell so you know when I post a new video, and comment down below if you still want me to test tasty recipes. Okay, without further ado, let's just get straight on to the video. So I'm going to mix my flour and my sugar, and I just want to add, you're supposed to have the dough hook on a stand mixer, and you don't have to use a stand mixer, but I definitely recommend you do, because it would be really hard if you don't. And you're supposed to, if you do use a stand mixer, you are supposed to use a dough attachment, but I could not find mine anywhere, so I ended up using a paddle attachment. So just want to say that. Next, you, in a separate bowl or cup, you want to add warm milk and your butter, 1 medium egg, and your yeast. And as I'm pouring this, I'm realizing this is way too small. I need to switch over to a bigger bowl or cup. And I kind of made a mess. There was such a mess at the end of this. And if you're wondering, you're probably wondering, why are you making this on a carpet? Well, it was 8 in the morning, and like most of my family was still asleep, and the stand mixer is loud. I don't know if that's just mine, but my stand mixer is very loud. I didn't want to wake anyone up, so I decided to do my back room, which has carpet, which was a mistake. I should have just waiting until everyone woke up. See, I can't talk. Anyways, if you've never seen these before, it basically looks like when you feed donkeys, like if you ever go to like a fair and they give you like, you know, these like little like pellets to feed the animals. It looks like that, except way smaller. Like I just saw yeast like literally like 2 months ago when I made my donuts, and I thought it looked exactly like that. So anyways, we just want to give this a good mix, and as you can see here, I had to wipe up something because I just spilled it all over the carpet. And just going to give it a good mix until it's all combined, and I was like stabbing the yolk like as if I was like killing it. But anyways, so just give it a good mix and try not to make a mess, but as you can see, I'm making a mess. So after you've mixed in all of your wet ingredients and your yeast, you're going to pour that into your flour sugar mixture. And you want to mix this on low until it's incorporated, and then you want to mix it on high until it gets a nice doughy texture. And when you mix it on high, that is actually the kneading. So if you're making this by hand, you will need to knead it for the last 2 minutes. So you just want to mix it, and I always have the worst luck with things with yeast. If you saw my donut video, it was way too thick of a dough, and that happened again. So yeah, I have the worst luck, so I ended up having to add more milk. And I just wanted to keep this audio in because listen to it.
I can't. I can't open it.
Anyways, you are going to put your dough in a ball and let it rest for 1.5 to 2 hours. And while we're waiting, we are going to make our filling, which is just brown sugar, cornstarch, cinnamon, a little bit of salt. And I wanted to add, I forgot to put the salt in the cinnamon roll dough, so hopefully it turns out good, but you do need 1/2 teaspoon of salt, okay? Don't forget that, like I did. So you do need half a teaspoon of salt. And I also wanted to add, all of the measurements will be at Emma's channel, and it's in her description box. So if you want to make this, all the ingredients and measurements are over on her channel. So I'm just going to give this a good mix. And I spent like a good 5 minutes, which doesn't sound a lot saying it out loud, mixing this. So I had to cut most of it out, but you really just want to mix it until it's one color. So yeah. Okay, so I just want to say this next clip, half of it was in slow motion on accident, so I had to cut out most of it. But you are going to add cream cheese, milk, powdered sugar, and vanilla into a bowl. And you're just going to give it a good mix. And I just did want to add, when you mix this, it's going to look like it failed. It's going to separate. It's going to look horrible. And Emma didn't say this, but I'm pretty sure it needs to be room temperature. And I did not use room temperature, so I was like, oh my god, I just broke it. I not broke it, I ruined it. But just keep mixing if you didn't make yours room temperature. And this is where the slow motion starts. I'm opening a vanilla bottle, which actually took me so long. I was struggling so much. And I decided to leave this clip in because the vanilla falling just looks so freaking satisfying. But I was having a really hard time opening this, and it makes me really mad that the entire clip was in slow motion. And I don't know why I didn't notice, because the clip was 10 minutes long. But anyways, here's the satisfying vanilla pour. You know, it's not that satisfying when it takes a million years to come out. Let's get on with this satisfyingness already. Vanilla. Oh, there we go. Ooh, ah, coolie. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. And I also just want to say I'm a professional now because I poured my vanilla without a measuring spoon. And I'm very, very proud of myself. And I also did want to add, oh my god, this is in slow motion too. Well, this is my mess. I wanted to show you guys this. Anyways, it has been 2 hours and my dough has doubled in size. So I'm going to go ahead and roll it out. And I don't know how those people make that perfect rectangle, but I just kind of eyeballed it. It's supposed to make 9 to 12 cinnamon rolls. So yeah, I just kind of eyeballed it, and in the end, if you keep watching, I'm pretty sure I made it too thick, so make it a little bit thinner than I do now. And I also want to add the cream cheese recipe, the cream cheese frosting. It said a splash of milk, but I hate when people say a splash of milk because I want to use the exact measurement, but then when they have the exact measurement, I want to use a splash. So I'm very confusing. And anyways, I'm just gonna roll it out, and this took me forever, and I forgot to use flour, and so I had to take this entire thing off and roll it out again, but you didn't see that because I cut it out. So once I have finished rolling it out, which took a while, but just make it your desired size. So after I have it all rolled out, like I said, I'm going to add butter, and this is actually 2 tablespoons of butter, which I thought was a lot. And by the way, make sure it's room temperature. Emma says that if you don't have room temperature butter, you can always microwave it for about 10-15 seconds, which is what I normally do because I always forget to leave out butter. But anyways, we're gonna spread this, and this is a lot of butter. A lot of butter. It doesn't look like a lot of butter, but when you put it on, it's gonna be a pretty thick layer of butter, but you need to use pretty much all of it so that the cinnamon mixture sticks. Okay, so all of my butter is spreaded out, and I have my cinnamon sugar mixture here, and I just sprinkled on a good layer, and it's honestly more cinnamon than I thought it would. So this is another reason why I don't think I rolled it out big enough. But anyways, I went ahead and put it on there. And Emma recommends using a rolling pin after you sprinkled it out to roll out your sugar. And I do have to say, guys, this helps so much. I was kind of skeptical about it, and I started doing it with my hands, and I decided to try the what is it called? A rolling pin. Yeah, rolling pin, and it worked so well, so I definitely recommend you try it. Okay, so here comes the hard part. And if you've never made the cinnamon rolls, which is me, I did not think this would be that challenging, but here is when we roll it. And you're supposed to roll it tight so that, your cinnamon rolls stick. And I found this really, really challenging, and I actually had to, redo it a few times. So the cinnamon the layers didn't stay as nice as I wanted them to. So I would practice this a few times. Okay, so once I have finally finished rolling it out after trying it a lot of times, I'm going to cut it now. And Emma said this makes 9 to 12 cinnamon rolls depending on how big you made them. I ended up making 10, but at first I tried to do it with a knife, which I do not recommend doing. And Emma is so smart because she recommended using a string, and it looked so much better and worked so much better. So if you make this, definitely use a string. Only thing I would say about this is if you're using a yarn like I did, some of the fuzzies might get into it, but it looked so much better when I did it. It looked so much neater. So if you are going to make this, I definitely recommend using a string instead of a knife. So I have finished all the cinnamon rolls, and this is what they look like. And we are going to rest it for another 30 minutes until they've grown to this size. And I actually realized that I forgot to spray the pan, so spray the pan, don't make a mistake. So next we're going to heat it to our oven to 350, but for me, my oven doesn't like to listen to directions, so it's 375. But heat yours, if your oven is right, to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And I am going to cook this for around 20 minutes. I actually ended up cooking it for about 24 minutes. And then I took it out, and do not wait till this is brown or golden brown. It is supposed to be fluffy, and it's supposed to be kind of about the same color, a little tiny bit brown. So do not overbake this. I accidentally did this the time before. I was really thinking about overbaking it. Do not do it. It is super chewy and defeats the fluffiness. Now we are going to put our cream cheese frosting, which we made earlier, which kind of failed. The filming failed, and I just snipped a little top. And a quick little hack for you guys: put your piping bags in a cup, because it makes it so much easier to put the icing or whatever in. And make sure you cut this hole small, because it'll come out pretty fast because of how liquidy it is. And also let me know if you guys want a kitchen or baking hacks, because I have a lot more up my sleeve, and this is just one of them, and I find them really helpful. So once I have my bag over it, I'm going to give the icing one more little mix, because it's been a while and it looks a little clumpy, but it's okay, because when you put it on the hot cinnamon rolls, it will melt those clumps. So just ignore that. It has that, so it kind of clumped up because the cheese was getting colder and it was clumping, but just don't pay attention to that, it'll all go away. So I just scooped it in my piping bag, and this didn't make a lot, but you don't need a lot. So yeah, I just scooped it in there and drizzled it on top, and I kept the rest in the piping bag just if anyone wanted to add some more icing, because if you want to make it look pretty, you kind of have to add a little bit less. But I like my cinnamon rolls with a lot of icing, so I just left it out when we ate it. Okay, so I'm just going to squeeze my frosting, and this part was so satisfying, and these cinnamon rolls look so delicious, and I just can't wait to eat them. Obviously, Emma did a much better job with the drizzling and whatnot. She's more of a baker professional. That did not make sense. She's more of a professional. But anyways, these cinnamon rolls look so good. Definitely recommend you make them, and not to mention they tasted So delicious. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.